Hey guys, how y'all doing? Good? Good. Hey, first off, I just want to thank you guys all for joining us for the 2024 Drag Illustrated 30 Under 30 press conference. It's awesome seeing all you guys here, and I just appreciate it so much. I want to start off real quick. In 2025, Drag Illustrated will celebrate 20 years. I started this deal with a couple of buddies of mine, and never ever thought in my wildest dreams that when we were working all night on a magazine in a chicken coop that we'd put an air conditioning in and used as an office, that we would end up having people subscribe to this magazine and follow what we do all around the world. And I'm really proud of it. And I just, quick little round of applause for my team at Drag Illustrated. This is a group of people that will follow me through the gates of hell. I've put them through hell on multiple occasions, but they're fresh off a barn burner of a couple of weeks here. We just had the Snowbird Outlaw Nationals presented by Motion Raceworks in Bradenton Motorsports Park. Everybody went home, washed their hair, did their laundry, and headed to Indy for this weekend. So I hope you guys all know that I appreciate you. My wife, she's here somewhere. Alicia, I love you, baby. It's been a rough couple of weeks with me out of the house and a rough couple of years, maybe 20, that we've been together, living with my crazy ass. So I really appreciate it, babe, and I love you. I want to start, just kind of tell a little quick story about something that's happening like right now that's pretty cool. So in 2021, we've been doing, this is the 10th anniversary of the Drag Illustrated 30 Under 30. This is a deal we literally cooked up in our booth over here. Shout out to my buddy PJ North. Said, man, we need to do something. We need to rip off that Forbes like 40 under 40. And I'm like, I got it. Let's do it. And so we cooked up this whole 30 under 30 thing. And anyways, in 2021, we added a young man to the list of our 30 under 30 honorees. And his name was Spencer Hyde. Spencer was somebody that I didn't know at all. My team came to me. He'd been running a little bit. He was a Canadian pro modified racer, and he'd had some like moderate success, but largely unknown. He came down to the US, started racing a little bit in the PDRA Pro Boost division. Never won a race or anything, but ran well, qualified every time they showed up to the track, went some rounds here and there, but was having a presence. In 2021, we added him to our Drag Illustrated 30 Under 30, and I started following him a little bit. I started checking out his social media, seeing the type of material he posted, seeing how he carried himself. Good-looking kid, got some swagger about him. He's a Canuck, you know, so it's just perfect. A lot of storylines that we're working out. Anyways, over the course of the following years, the way things unfolded was fairly magical. He actually flew to Indy from Canada, came down here specifically to beg me to invite him to the 2023 run-in of the Drag Illustrated World Series of Pro Mod. He probably didn't fit the bill. I wasn't quite sure. I didn't know if he was ready to race at that level or not. But my brother-in-law and Drag Illustrated's mascot, JT Hudson, started drinking with him. And those Canadians are about the only ones who can drink with JT. So anyways, they're having cocktails in the JW Marriott Lounge, where JT's the mayor. And JT tells him, or he finds out, that the only reason Spencer had come to Indy was to try to convince me to invite him to the World Series. So JT and him make friends, they become buddies, shocking. And JT comes to the show the following morning, and he says, hey man, I really need your help. And I'm like, what, bail money? What's up? And he goes, I promised Spencer Hyde last night that I'd get him invited to the race or I'd quit my job. And I really don't want to quit. I've never worked anywhere this long. And I said, well, let me think about it, right? So he introduces me to Spencer, and I'm like, or he reintroduces me, and we chat, and I'm like, you know what, I think this might work. So a couple days later, I called Spencer. We get home from the show, and I called Spencer, and I said, hey man, you serious? You'll come all the way down to Bradenton, Florida? You'll be a part of this deal? And he said, man, I've got an opportunity to rent a ride in a top fuel car at the Gator Nationals, but if you'll let me in, I'll forego that and I'll come to the World Series of Pro Mod. And I said, well, anybody that would make that decision is my kind of guy, so I'll see you in Florida. He shows up at that race in 2023, barely qualifies, gets in on Saturday night, final qualifying session. All y'all that were there know that that's typically the one you gotta make a good lick in, you know? And shows up, qualifies 32nd, barely gets into the field, has a little bit of luck on his side on race day, gets by Tommy Gray in the first round. Tommy Redlit probably had the car to beat, but Spencer gets by that round and proceeds to win 3 of the rounds of racing on hole shots before he had to line up with Kurt Stedding, and Mark Savage poured the coals to it, and they managed, by the grace of God, to outrun Kurt and Todd Tutterow, right? That night, Spencer became the 2023 World Champion, or World Series of Pro Mod champion. And what we've seen this young man do, and I just want this to be a little bit of a message to all of you young guys, all of our honorees, and everybody in here. If you think about what that young man did, he invested in himself, right? He flew to Indy, right? He recognized that your net worth, as cliche as it sounds, is determined by your network, right? You've got to know people. You've got to put yourself out there. He also held himself to a high standard. I can't tell you guys how many people I've said no to because I don't like the way they act, right? I'll go check out their social media. I see how they behave in public. I see how they speak to their parents. I see how they speak to their friends. I see how they interact with their family. And I go, that guy or gal is not my kind of guy. They don't fit with what we're trying to do here. And I learned all this from Spencer, and I watched him, and I just think that he is a shining example of what can happen. Because as we're doing this press conference right now, Spencer is being announced as a full-time NHRA Nitro Funny Car driver. And I just think that that ascension in 4 years, the most important thing that you guys can take away from this is that that's possible for all of y'all. Every single one of you are capable of that. And this is a community of people, I say it every Wednesday, drag racing is the great American motorsport. I task myself every year to go to other motorsports properties. I found in the last few years that I got to stop going to so many drag races. I love going to the drag races, but I've got to go see what other people are doing. I've got to go learn from them, steal their ideas. Tommy Cunningham from Stroud Safety and I went to a GT World Challenge road race in Indy a few months ago just so we could go see how they do things and see how we can improve what we're doing. And my takeaway from all these events that I've been to, NASCAR races, Formula One races, IndyCar races, without a doubt, our on-track product in drag racing is head and shoulders better than anything that's happening in motorsports. However, we still kind of find ourselves as a group of outsiders, right? Even as we walk around this trade show, we don't fit in necessarily. And I just want to see this sport grow, and I want to share what's happening here with the world. This is an incredible group of people. I venture to say we could shut those doors and with the people in this room build a spaceship by noon tomorrow, right? We could do whatever we wanted to do. And I hope you guys recognize that and understand the possibilities that exist for not only yourselves, but this sport. This is a sport every man, woman, child, every race, color, creed, young, old, somewhere in between, knows what a drag race is. They've pulled up to a stoplight, looked over, said, not today, right? I mean, every one of them. It's in this hyper fast-moving world we live in, this microwave society, drag racing plays well. It happens fast, right? These things are won and lost in a matter of seconds. There's so many positives that exist in this sport, but we're not proud enough of them. We don't talk about it enough. And that's something that I want to encourage you guys, is to share the gospel of this sport. Bring someone to the drag races. Cars may bring us together, but I'll tell you, they are not the stars. The people, the men and women in this room, and the men and the women walking this hall and going to drag races all over the country, NHRA events, Midwest event, PDRA, oh my gosh, alphabet soup of different sanctions and series and events that exist. This is an incredible group of people, and all you got to do is get someone to the track. Get them out there. Get them to experience what we're doing and be a part of this community. Fast cars, big burnouts, all that stuff, that brings us together, but the people are what bring us back. That's the difference here. And this is a group of community that needs to help me and help my entire team at Drag Illustrated and all the people that have supported this program help us spread that gospel. And I just want you guys to know that I truly love this sport. There's nothing I'd rather do, and I think that we can run this whole thing. But we got to be pulling the rope the same direction. You know, we got to work together. There's a lot of walls that have existed in the sport of drag racing get built up. Our sport, I often joke, it's like a high school hallway, right? It's kind of clicked up. We got the jocks and the nerdy kids or whatever. We got big tire, no prep, nitro guys, big money bracket racers, regular bracket racers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We got to tear those walls down. We got to work together. We got to be a part of this thing and support one another. We got to work together to not stack our events on top of each other. We got to do the hard work to take this sport where it rightfully belongs, and that's at the top of the totem pole in the sport, in the motorsporting world. So anyways, before I dive into this thing, I just want to tell you guys that we had, what, Nate, 7,000 nominations for the Drag Illustrated 30 Under 30 this year. It's an incredibly tough task for our team. We look through every one of these things. Some people send us one sentence, pick my kid, right? Some people send us 2,000 or 3,000 words about their son or their daughter or their nephew or their cousin or their best buddy that definitely deserves to be a part of this. And my team, Mike, Nate, our whole editorial team, Craig, Nancy, Kayla, JT, who else is in here? Is everybody here? Well, anyways, my entire team at Drag Illustrated, we work on this for weeks. We start taking the nominations, and it's, despite what anybody may think, it's not at all a popularity contest. It, of course, helps, and I love seeing everybody talk about it on social media, but we never factor that into our decisions. We look at the kids, and we pick kids that we think deserve it, that are going somewhere, that are going to be somebody, that will represent us and the sport of drag racing in a fine fashion. And that's how we decide on these young men and women every year. And let's, before I even start announcing names, I just want to say to all those 7,000 kids and the thousands and thousands and thousands of other kids around the world, racing junior dragsters, racing street bikes, street cars, what have you, going racing with their parents, we see you, and we're trying. There's 30 spots. It's hard. We make some really, really brutal decisions that break my heart. We argue about it, we fight about it. It gets a little salty every time we go through the list, but we feel proud of the young men and women that we choose to be a part of this. We feel like they will carry it forward and represent us well, and that means a lot to me, but I want those kids to keep going. We've had kids that get nominated year after year. Ronnie Green, where's Ronnie? Ronnie deserved it last year, but we weren't quite, it wasn't a matter of if he deserved it. We also have to recognize that some of these kids are gonna age out. So if a kid's 29 or he's getting ready to turn 30, we recognize that we've got to do it now or we're going to lose that opportunity. And I want all you guys to encourage these young men and women. There's a lot of things they could do. They could go do anything else. They could go play baseball. Their parents clearly will support them and encourage them on their endeavors. They could do anything else, but they chose to go drag racing. And this sport, drag racing, maybe you guys, some of you don't know, but this is literally all I've ever done. Some kids played baseball, some kids played football. I went racing with my old man. That's all I ever did. I was in my mother's womb in a piece of crap, taped together enclosed car trailer a week before I was born at Eddyville Raceway Park in Oskaloosa, Iowa. And I know what it takes. I've put up awnings. I've fought to get a car out of the trailer because it sets too low and it scratches the front end and my dad's going to beat me up. I mean, I've fought those battles, and I recognize how hard this sport is. And I want these young men and women need to be encouraged because we got to keep them going. Because they're not going to make any money, right? They're going to burn it. And that's a big part of what we do is making these kids feel good about dedicating their life to the sport of drag racing because it's going to be hard on them. It's going to be real hard on them. They're going to lose a lot more than they win, no matter how successful they are. They're going to take a lot of L's. So we got to pat them on the back, cheer them on along the way, and celebrate this next generation of drag racing superstars because I venture to say there's a Spencer Hyde sitting in the room that I'm going to get to be scrambling out of here to go watch become an NHRA Nitro funny car driver because of what has happened over the course of the last few years. So anyways, Nate, did I do a good job on all that? Okay. Real quick, I would like to say, and I'm going to bring our VP of Sales up here, my brother-in-arms, Brett Underwood, to thank all the sponsors that have made this possible. Brett, let's give it up for my boy. 40 years in drag racing. 40 years.
Thank you. I just want to real quick run through our sponsors. We have 15 sponsors that makes this possible. So if you would, when I call your name, would you at least stand up and be recognized? Start off Strange Engineering, Jeff Stange, Lisa Slater.
Woo! I'll do it.
Lincoln Electric, Lon Damon. Race Winning Brands, Scott Hyland, Kim Solly. VP Racing Fuels, Bruce Hindle, Freddie Terza. Mosier Engineering, Jeff Anderson, Lindsay Mosier Gary, and Max Mosier. Sander Engineering, Vic Wood. Stroud Safety Equipment, Tommy and Anita Cunningham. Jesse G Sport, Emissions, Eric Latino. Redline Oil, Mark Beatty, Madeline Bardot. Power Built Tools, Desiree Martinez. Peak Antifreeze, Brian Bolander. Elite Motorsports, Richard Freeman. Steel It Coatings, Paul Lesage. Empaco Equipment Company, Mark and Bonnie Powick. Pleasanton Ready Mix, Scrappers Racing, Monica and Mike Salinas. Thank you, people. If it wasn't for your sponsors, we couldn't do this. We appreciate it.
Good job, Brett. I had something killer to say. Oh, real quick. So I say real quick every time I'm about to talk for 4 hours. But I do want to, one of the coolest things about this list before I dive into the 2024 honorees is that it's such a diverse list of people. And my brother likes to joke that I'm awkward with tools. It's really insulting to me, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better at it. But there's a lot of different ways to get into the sport of drag racing. That's kind of the beauty of this sport, and it has been for a long time. It's a classic get in where you fit in type of thing. And when I roll down through this list, I think you guys will notice that it's not just, the next crop of NHRA Pro Stock, Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock motorcycle rookies. These are people that contribute to our sport in a meaningful way, but in a lot of different ways. We've got fabricators, we've got media members, we've got industry members, we've got racers from every walk of the racing life. No-time racers, grudge racers, pro mod racers, every sportsman racers, nostalgia racers. There is so many people that are a part of this, and I think that that's part of the magic of what we've been doing at Drag Illustrated for 20 years, is that we are bound by no sanctioned series, manufacturer. We truly try to paint a wide swath, because I recognize that, and we recognize, that a lot of the action that exists in our sport is kind of on the fringe. Like a lot of the little, they're hidden gems, right? It's not always in the heart of it where the action is or where the excitement or the heat is. I always use it as if you're cooking a steak, right? It's colder in the center than it is at the edges. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes in the sport of drag racing, I believe that's the case. Our sport's hottest, perhaps, on the fringes sometimes. So anyways, this is a super diverse group of people that contribute to our sport in their own way, and I think that's kind of the magic of it. So anyways, without any further ado, I'm going to dive into this list. So speaking of the devil here, as far as a fabricator, Australian sportsman racer and fabricator Monique Ambrosi. Come on up. Yep, come on up. Nate, aren't you going to... Nate, jackets. Okay, yeah, awesome. Yeah, stay up here. Right, we want him to stay up here, Nancy, don't we? Oh, you're going to come down there. Okay. Well, we lost some momentum here, so let's try that one more time. Monique Ambrosi. Videographer Steve Oglis. Racer and podcaster Cooper Baghetti. Big Money Bracket Racer Cooper Chun. No Prep Kings driver Paige Coughlin. Here's Paige. NHRA Pro Stock drivers Christian, David, and Fernanda Quadra Jr. NHRA Pro Stock motorcycle racer Gianna Evaristo. Big Money Bracket racer Joe Foley. Nostalgia Nitro driver and tuner Joseph Gallegos. Track operator Rhett Gardner. NHRA Top Alcohol dragster driver Hunter Green. PDRA Pro Street tuner Ronnie Green Jr. West Coast door slammer driver Michelle Henry. Ultra Street racer Kyla Hubbard. NHRA Pro Street racer Scott Kincaid. NHRA Pro Stock rookie to be Matt Latino. Engine builder and fabricator Elliot Lowe. Journalist and community activist Madeline Marconi. NHRA Pro Stock driver Mason McGahey. No Time racer Brandon McGee. Engine builder and drag and drive racer Kyle Morris. Photographer Alex Owens. Small tire racer and crew member and probably one of the longest running subscribers to Drag Illustrated, Logan Paul. NHRA factory stock crew member and super gas racer, Kyle Powick. European sportsman driver, Jordan Payne. PDRA Pro Street World Champion, Ethan Stedding. Engine builder and no prep driver, Johnny Tolosano. No time racer, Michael Walker. Photographer, Caitlin Ward. Photographer, Krista Zivsik. We got one more honor real quick that I want to bring up here, that's already up here. But this young man, when he was 18 years old for me, whenever I first got going, I would find my way to the racetrack because I couldn't afford hotel or travel or anything like that. I would volunteer to crew on somebody's car, and I would ride with them to the racetrack and work on the car and do what I needed to do, be a grunt, and that way I could get to the track so I could go try to cover the race and do stories and interview people and whatnot. And at the time, I was doing PR and like just grunt work for Danny Rowe. Showing up to every race with Danny Rowe, NHRA Pro Mod legend, dear friend of mine and an early mentor of mine. And I was hanging out in Danny's pits and sitting there, and up comes this kid. And he literally walks up to me and he says, "Hey, Wes, my name's Nate, and I want to talk to you for a few minutes." And I said, "Of course, man." So he sits down and he tells me that how since he was 16-ish, his whole life he'd been going to Norwalk to Summit Motorsports Park, going to the drag races, huge fan, equally awkward with tools, I think that's fair. And he had decided to start writing press releases. So he'd started up his own little media business, and he was going around and he was trying to sell his services and help these racers get some ink. And the first question he asked, he said, "Hey, if I start sending you some of these stories, like, would you publish them?" And as I'm talking to him, and seeing how fired up and how passionate, if you can believe it, I could just sense it in him. He genuinely loves this stuff. And I go, "Man, I don't really want you to start your own business." And he's like, "Well, I'm pretty excited, I said, "I just want you to come work for me." And he's like, "Are you serious?" And I said, "Right now, you're hired. Like, if you'll do it." I tried and tried and tried to talk him out of going to college, because I said, "Hey, man, I'll teach you everything you need to know." You just join in. And sure as shit, he signed up that day. We shook hands, hugged him, told him I loved him, and we're going to do it together. And here we are, all these years later. He runs Drag Illustrated. He's our editor-in-chief. That was something I worked my whole life to be able to have that on my business card, and he was the person that I trusted to hand it over to and say, "Hey, man, we got a lot of irons in the fire right now, and I need some help." And I've turned the magazine over to him, and he guides the ship as far as the editorial content of the magazine. He is a permanent presence at the PDRA races. He never tells me no, or at least very rarely, now that Allison's involved. But anyways, our final DI 30 under 30 member of the 2024 class, my own oldest son, Nate Van Wagenen. And one more time, I just got to give it up to my entire team. Mike Carpenter and I have been doing this for 18 years together. I met Mike in the pits of the San Antonio Raceway. It was the year that they repaved the track. Does anybody remember that? It was bonkers. I mean, I showed up at the track that night, or I was at the track and I see some heavy equipment headed to the racetrack. I'm like, what are they doing? They repaved it that night. Having some trouble on a big end, so we're just gonna pour some asphalt. And I said, this is going to be awesome. I have no idea. Anyways, this crazy story. I go into the tower, and this is something I do a lot. I went up to the tower at San Antonio Raceway, which is the size of one of these squares, and I'm looking around in there, and I see this super cool looking computer. It was fancy and shiny and silver and had some lights on it and stuff. I'm like, I bet that kid's smart. Whoever has that knows what they're doing. So I literally walk over, and I'm like, "Hey, whose computer is this?" And Mike turns around and goes, "Mine." And I'm like, "Who are you?" He's like, "Mike Carpenter. My dad is Charles Carpenter, the godfather of Pro Mod." I'm like, What? So we start talking. we started hanging out, and I said, hey, man, I can barely turn my computer on, and I'm trying to grow this media company, and I really think we can take over the sport of drag racing, but I can't do it alone. And most of the time, I have no idea what I'm doing. I am just figuring it out as I go. So anyways, Mike and I rode around on a golf cart for, 4 hours? And I pitched him the dream. It was, I had him. I knew it. I had him, rode around on the golf cart, and I said, Mike, I promise, man, if we can do this. Had we even put out an issue yet? A few issues. I think we'd put out a few issues. Anyways, since that day, Mike's been at my right-hand side ever since. We've been to hell and back together. I thought we were going to lose this deal a couple of different times, all but sold my soul to keep it going. I did a deal. I sold lifetime subscriptions to the magazine because I thought, man, we maybe got a year or two left. Like, there's no chance this is going to be a bad deal. Now we've got 1,000 of those people that every month got to get a magazine, and yeah, it's okay. Questionable decision, but it did. It saved the day for us. And Mike, my whole team, I appreciate you, brother. Nancy, where is everybody? Brett has changed the game for us, joined us, 4 years ago now? 3 years ago now. We always knew that one of these days our paths would cross. And he's a huge part of our team now. Craig Cook, difference maker. Josh Dixon, difference maker. Kayla Zadell, difference maker. I am so blessed to be surrounded by some absolutely incredible people that love this sport as much as I do and believe in what we're doing. My brother, where's JT at? JT Hudson, my man right here, gets me out of trouble, sometimes gets me in it. But we always do it together. And we've got about, how many Nancy total people do we have right now? 14, 15 kind of total, the whole group? No, 9. We got Van Abernathy. I know you guys all know Van Abernathy. Goes to all these races, crisscrosses the highways and byways of America. This group of people we cover every year. We attend, our team, people that work at Drag Illustrated, go to 100 races a year. We go to 100 different events a year, and we can't get to them all. I don't get to as many as I used to. I got to try to be there for Max and Sophia a little bit, right? But this team of people allow us to really paint a wide swath in the sport of drag racing, and again, celebrate all of y'all in the great American motorsport that is the sport of drag racing. So anyways, we are going to do a drawing. Brett, I'm going to let you do it. This looks complicated. We do have, can you describe exactly what's happening?
Yep. Okay. I'd like to bring up Lon Damon from Lincoln Electric. Lon went above and beyond. A couple of years ago, he approached me and said, I want to do a little something different, something extra. I can't give a welder to all 30 people, but what I'd like to do is present a welder, all the welding equipment, plus a school for Lincoln Electric. So what we do is we got 33 chips in here. Lon's going to draw a chip. One kid's going to get a welder, a welding school, plus all the equipment. I'll let Lon tell a little bit more about it.
Hopefully not. I don't know who all went to that party last night, but I'm still trying to recover from that. But that's another story. But anyways, is it? Yeah, shake them up. Anyways, the whole package is about $5,000, and I think it's a great little way to, keep the generations going with the young people here. I mean, look at this. It's a whole wide group of young ladies and men, and it's a great deal to do this. So we're gonna do it.
Number 24, Alex Owens.
We got one more drawing, right?
We also have another sponsor called Buzz Bicycles here in the front. We're going to draw a chip. One of the kids are going to get an electric bicycle. Wes, you want to draw this?
Now, if you don't have one of these Buzz bicycles, I'm no sort of electric car guy, but they're badass. 16. They'll run 21 mile an hour.
Number 16, Kyla Hubbard.
Sick. 35 minutes, not bad. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to stop, guys, I promise. So, hey, I just want to tell you guys all thank you, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, supporting these kids like you do. It means a lot to me personally. It means a lot to all of us. Thank you guys for believing us. 20 years we've been doing this, mailing magazines, doing podcasts, writing shows, putting on races. I promise you, we're just getting started. So thank you for being a part of it. Group photo, kiddos. Group photo, kiddos. Thank you, guys. Oh, killed the video. Michael, what's your password? And I apologize for doing this, but can I have everybody in this first 3 rows kind of part the waters a little bit for me? Moses is here.
Tell them we're going to let the media take pictures and then we'll give time for the parents.
Okay. We're going to do photos with the media, and then we'll do photos with parents, okay? So just bear with us. Hey, Michael, what's your password for your laptop?
Put it in with my finger.
I killed the video accidentally.
Like crowded on that end. I'm going on this end.